Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on yet another episode of our Import Export Advisory series. This series has been curated so we unpeel the onion on some of the complex topics of the import export domain. While the industry evolves, we try to get you the best and the latest possible information so your import export business stays active and you are fed with the right kind of information. Today, we have our guest Parth, who is an advocate and who is a seasoned professional of MOOWR. Hi, Parth.
Good evening and
Good
thank
to
you.
have you here. So, I have requested Parth to join us to speak a little about the electronics market. Now, Parth is putting his hand in some of the big projects of electronics that's happening from Gujarat. So he is hands-on. He's on the ground dealing with the complexities or the finesse that you need to handle a MOOWR transaction. Now, MOOWR. So, Parth, before I go deep, now, electronics has been the lifeline of any country. Now, if you look at the United States or China, they have started dominating the world economics because of their power with semiconductors and electronics. So now, how do you see India? Where does India stand in the global electronics market?
Very perfect note to start with. Uh, the market of electronics is very huge as a whole across the world. Day by day, everyone is being dependent on this market. It's like a lifeline without which, just like hospitals or schools or roadways, no one can live in this world without electronics. Everyone from day to day use or from day to day processes, they have electronics. Whatever or anything we do, it is through the electronics.
True.
If we see India against the market, the global market stands at $4 trillion economy, against which the exports of India is hardly $25 billion. You can say maybe less than 1% of exports against the total global economy or global market of the electronics. China being the biggest market, which is covering up to more than 50% in this entire global supply chain of electronics. So India, yes, it is one of the fastest growing economy in the world, wherein the most or the maximum quantum of electronics manufacturing is the mobile phones in India as of today, which comprises almost around 43% of mobile electronics. Major of them. So here it's a very remarkable thing that the major portion of manufacturing is assembly, which is being done in India.
Right.
The other aspects like manufacturing of components, LCD screens, or various other parts are still being manufactured in the other countries. Most of them China, Japan, US, Vietnam, Malaysia, and all these countries. So India, yes, has a very, very big scope in terms of manufacturing. There's one report being circulated by Niti Aayog in July 2024, whereby they have envisaged 200, 200 plus $1 billion of exports economy by 2030, and creating millions of jobs in India. So they are eyeing a lot on Indian manufacturers to boost exports as well as gain employment within the country. And this is the report of Niti Aayog, which very positively looks forward and gain. Say, for example, today the India share in global exports economy is less than 1%, but it envisages to reach around 4 to 5% within a span of 5, 6 years. So yes, this is a uh, very big market. Also, there are various policies that the governments are trying to frame. One of which we have been discussing for across various industries, the MOOWR scheme. So yes, there are very good possibilities, very good opportunities for the MOOWR scheme being helpful to this entire industry.
Super. Now, what are the big challenges that Indian manufacturers face with electronics in India?
Yes. Few of the challenges which I have noted down. One is the rapid technology advancement.
Hmm.
Day in, day out, the technologies keep on changing. They keep on advancing. Every other day, there is a new invention, new R&D being going on in this industry, which makes it really difficult to sustain. Second important thing is the cost management. The cost management in terms of transportation, uh, the supply chain, the inventories, various other things with respect to the materials, packing materials, the uh, international freights of forwarding and clearance and all that. That is also a very challenging task in this industry. Second thing is that the the product life of any uh, spans for a period of say 4 to 5 years. If any product is being invented and being marketed for in any country or in the world, then the lifespan on an average, based on the research, that it spans for a period of 4 to 5 years. That there is a big challenge. Reason being, if you start manufacturing after say the end of fourth year, then you will end up doing losses, because after a period of say 1 to 2 years, the product is about to get obsolete. So this is also a very big challenge in this industry. Second thing is the manufacturing processes with respect to the products that keep on evolving every other day. It's not just the technology or advancement, even the manufacturing processes. Some of them are patented. You cannot get hands on those process and all that. So these are the few uh, challenges which I have sorted out, and fruitfully, the more scheme could help out from this process.
So that's my next question. So how does MOOWR help manufacturers? I know, see, you cannot break the patent laws. You cannot do a few things that are etched on stone. Some of these chips that are patented, or some of the processes that are patented. So how does MOOWR help these manufacturers, increase their game of import and export?
Yes. Um before uh, going into the specifics of MOOWR, one very important thing in this entire market is global value chain. So uh, it's a technical term whereby what it means is that for manufacturing of any product, you have to source it from various places, various regions, and get the maximum optimization of the manufacturing process of that region, of the raw materials of that region, and then come out with a strategy, or come out with a process whereby you get the maximum benefit out of this process, the best results, and a helpful, uh, cost effective product for the customers as well. So this is what very importantly needs to be looked in by the electronics manufacturing industry as a whole.
Okay.
How? Yes. So uh, Now, how MOOWR could help us in this process? So, uh, the very basic thing starts from where to set up industries. Currently, we are eyeing a lot on manufacturing and exports. So, exports in India, there are various schemes like EPCG scheme, EOU scheme, SEZ schemes, advanced license schemes. One of them is the MOOWR schemes. Uh, in general, the schemes would be not availing any of these schemes and just availing the incentives of the government.
Correct.
The normal, yes. So the normal manufacturing process without availing any additional benefits from the government except the incentives. So how MOOWR helps us in this process? The first and foremost thing is the location. If you see SEZ requires a uh, minimum area as an investment in terms of in terms of acres. Say, for example, for any IT technology setup, it needs a minimum area of say 10 acres. For other industries, it requires at least 50 acres. Also, the second thing is how can uh, this area has to be notified at a specific place. It cannot be set up anywhere, wherever you wish to set up. So the SEZ. Second thing is the EOUs. The EOUs has certain traits and practices. There has to be export obligation. There has to be net foreign exchange benefit you need to meet upon. The other scheme is the EPCG scheme, whereby you have to fulfill your export obligations, uh, without which you will be end up paying interests and penalties. The other is advanced authorization for the raw materials, whereby you have to import raw materials and then export it back with minimum value addition, minimum quantum of uh, what say domestic value addition in the process. You have to at least you have to import within some timelines, export it back within some timelines, and all that. So these all challenges of other schemes uh, helps us or ends up MOOWR as the best scheme above all. In
Okay.
MOOWR, this is just a comparison in comparison with other schemes. Now, how can MOOWR help us facing these challenges which I have just listed out? One is first and foremost was the technological advancements. So in MOOWR, whenever you import anything, you did not pay any duty.
True.
At the time of import, wherever either you import raw materials, either you import capital goods, any technology you import, you did not pay any duty. You do the R&D, you do the manufacturing process. As in when you think that this technology is being obsolete, you can export it back to any other country, or you can sell it to the domestic market, and then within for the period of say 4 years, 5 years, or 7 years, 10 years, you need not pay any duty, need not pay any import duty, including the IGST in India, and that portion is almost around 28%. So
Wow.
there is a very huge burden on the technologies which are being imported. Second thing is the location. You can set up your unit anywhere convenient to you. You can check all the parameters as to whether this place is most convenient to you in terms of transportation, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of labor. All these aspects are very important in the electronics industry. One of our clients for whom we are working, uh, they are manufacturers of semiconductor chips. So for them, they have set up this location at X place, and this place is very much convenient in terms of customs clearance, in terms of transportation of machines, in terms of labors, in terms of other infrastructures. One of the things which I came to know was that not just the chips, even the machines which are to be imported are are to be imported under a specific uh, a set of parameters. You need to have very good roads. You also need to maintain the stability of these machines. Few jerks and few roadblocks would be a big hassle for this importers. So all these parameters needs to be understood, needs to be taken care of, and then there comes the role of mover, whereby you can get the benefits of duties, you can get the benefits of um, uh, flexibilities of infrastructure or wherever you want to set up. And this is how mover in terms of mover is better in terms of other policies. Second thing here is that you can also do the technology optimization benefit, whereby any other person or any other party who wants to get the goods manufactured from you, they can import raw material at your price. You can do the job work for them, then send it back to their premises, and then again export it back to some X country or some Y country. In all this process, there is no restriction. There is clear feasibility with very minimal compliance, that you can import at one place, you can clear it, you can do the manufacturing process and clear it back to some other place within India, then do further manufacturing and then export it back. So all these possibilities are very minutely validated by the government in the mover process. So it will so what I understand from the mover process is that any goods which are being imported in India and you have to export it back to any country, then none in any of this process, the imported duties will not be a problem for you. This is how the government has designed this mover scheme. It is not just that the import things are imported and you get it import free. There are other compliances which makes it even more better and even less compliant in terms, or hassle free compliance for the industries manufacturers, that you can import all this, do the manufacturing, focus on your manufacturing, focus on your business, and then export it back to other countries on foreign currencies without any export obligation. So the other beauty of MOOWR scheme is that there is no export obligation. If you are importing one thing today and the market goes down after say 2 3 years or 4 years down the line, then you will end up paying losses if there is export commitment. So in MOOWR scheme, there is no export commitment. You just have to avail the benefits, do the manufacturing, focus on business, and then uh, get the exports and do the exports at the maximum. The second thing, very important, I find in MOOWR scheme is that the manufacturing process, if at all your manufacturing process is patented,
Okay.
in the advance authorization, you have to fulfill the standard input output norms. What it means is, for any export product, you have to justify and avail a permission or approval from the DGFT department that for X quantum of export product, you are allowed to import only Y quantum of export product. For that process as well, you will have to submit all the documentation, the detailed manufacturing process and everything to the DGFT department. Once all the documents are being submitted to a DGFT department or to any government department, it is very natural that it becomes a public document.
True.
Like me and you can very well access it. If it is a patented process, then all this process or all these things will become public. In the MOOWR scheme, is that you need not follow the sign norms which are being defined or which are to be approved by the DGFT department. It is your norms, you declare, you do the manufacturing, and the customs department will not ask a very detailed, in-depth process of how are you manufacturing these goods.
Wow. Okay.
That is a very, very important thing under the MOOWR scheme. I was just going through various articles, and even in the morning today, I was discussing with one of our clients that we want to avail the import benefit, but the the process or the manufacturing process which we are following, it's a kind of monopoly thing for us. We do not want to disclose it to anyone. And so I suggested that the first option which usually comes to everyone's mind is advanced authorization, because it is a very popular scheme. So I told him, why didn't you avail advanced authorization for all these years? That he immediately told me that I do not want to get into more loss and more competitiveness because of just getting the duty benefit. So that's how I told him that you try the MOOWR scheme. It will be very helpful. And when I explained him the entire process, he was so much impressed that this is a very good initiative by the government, that such kind of things will help you grow your business, also maintain your secrecy or your process, and further exports as well. Now, the other benefit which he is getting would be he will be able to further compete in the market with a lesser import cost, lesser raw material cost, and even grow more exports just by availing the benefits of the MOOWR scheme. Because as of today, he was importing all the raw materials with payment of duties. Now,
all that money comes back into the business.
yes, absolutely. So this
Super.
is one of the very one of the beauties of the MOOWR scheme. The second thing, very important thing here is that along with the MOOWR schemes, if at all you are planning to avail various other benefits like the EPCG schemes or the advanced license schemes or the IGCR scheme. IGCR is importing the raw materials at concessional rates following due procedures and due compliances. But you also can import the raw materials at some concessional rate. Where what does that mean is whatever you are importing, initially at that import time itself, the quantum of duty which is to be deferred, that quantum itself will be reduced.
Wow.
So
Right.
that is those are the other benefits you also can club with the MOOWR scheme. So what I think is MOOWR scheme is like a Pandora box. Whenever you open it, it gives you some uh, better fruits or very sweet fruits. And I think all this points we have discussed will definitely help. Not all the challenges, but definitely few challenges in terms of duties or working capital or tax benefits or compliances and all. I think this is a very good scheme and a no-brainer for the electronics industries as well.
Makes sense. There's so many points that you mentioned. How we circumvent patents, how we
Yes.
make sure that our processes are kept secret. It's a Pandora box, like you said. It can actually mean a lot of things to a lot of people. But for now, I think we have solved one bit of the problem to say that no electronics manufacturer in India should operate without getting MOOWR. Because if you still do, then it's a fool's paradise. You will be competing at a very higher price, at a higher raw material cost, and lower margins because your margins are getting stuck or getting eaten away by the import tax. Right? So great points, Parth. Thank you so much for today. But I think next time I'll have to find a way to call you and ask you to peel the onion on each one of these things. How do you circumvent the patents? Because it's a
Yes.
Pandora box. Somebody has spent so much time to get patents, and then you're saying that we can circumvent the patent process to produce things, which is great. Am I speaking the right thing?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, super.
What are
Um, Thank you so much for your time, and we will meet again. And in the next topic, in the next episode, we'll speak something very related to MOOWR and all those provisions that MOOWR makes or MOOWR gives you so that you go beyond the crippling restrictions of the market. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you, Chaitanya. Thank you very much.
Have a lovely day. Bye.
Same to you. Goodbye.